Pleasant good evening, everyone. This evening, we're going to start with the attendance. So if you're here, please indicate. Tyler? Melanie? Juan?
Present, ma'am.
Santiago? Kaylee? Leonce?
Here.
Araceli? Alyssa?
Present.
Tyler?
Present.
Here, miss. Here, miss.
Thank you. Ronell? Daniel? Kenroy? Fidel?
Present, ma'am.
Ivani?
Present.
Dijon?
Present, miss.
Miriam?
Here, miss.
Kyra?
Here, miss. I left you a message, by the way. Sorry.
Thank you. Sophia? Chelsea?
Present.
Cheyenne?
Here, miss.
Jenny?
Here, miss.
Kenya?
Here, miss.
Xiomara?
Present, miss.
Brandon?
Present.
Anthony?
Here, miss.
Martha?
Here, miss.
Shamika?
Present.
Herwin?
Present.
Sandra? Vashti?
Here.
Keon? Randine?
Present, miss.
Okay. Persons marked absent are Keon, Sandra, Sophia, Kenroy, Daniel, Ronell, Araceli, Kaylee, Santiago.
Here, ma'am.
Santiago is here.
Miss Kenroy is here.
Kenroy. Okay, thank you. All right, so the others are marked absent.
Miss, did you call my name, Miss? I came in about 7:02.
That's Melanie. Yes, I did.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Miss Mikamani, Miss Tyler, miss.
Yes, I did. All right, so Tyler is here now. Melanie is here. Kaylee, still not here. And Araceli is still not here. Ronell, are you here now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Daniel? Okay. Thank you. So tonight, just going over the reminders. You have completed your third forum by now. And so those are being graded. For those who haven't had the opportunity to finish chapters 1 to 3 interactive slides as yet, please be reminded that the deadline for test 1 is Monday at midnight, so that's October 10th. You have an hour and 15 minutes to do that test. And when you've started the test, you will be asked for a password. So before you can attempt any of the questions, you click on the start test button. It's going to ask you for a password. And just a reminder, if you didn't copy it the last time, this is the password. Make sure you have it written down so that you can enter it. Capital M, capital I, $, common T, common E, $, common T, 0, 1. You can also take a screenshot just in case so that you can find it easily. The test is just 30 questions of multiple choice and true or false type questions. However, you must complete all the interactive slides before you can have access to that test. So I believe that you should be able to do well on this assessment. We try to accommodate you as students, and you should be able to do this, right? All right, so tonight we'll be speaking about another assignment that you have, which is practical project number 3. Practical projects are great opportunities for you to be able to demonstrate what you're learning from the content, what you're learning from the chapter, and how you are making the initiative to learn on your own and apply it in real life. Now, this course takes a lot of the things you already know from your business classes, and it shows you how you can use technology to foster some of these practices in real life. Now, you have the opportunity to take your previous knowledge and find out what technologies you could use to enhance operations, business processes, work environments using technologies to improve opportunities for the business establishment. So we're looking at how are we going to encourage competitive advantage? How are we going to promote survival of our business? How are we going to serve our customers well? We look at coins, we look at all of the different aspects that we mentioned. And then the information systems is broken into 3 main groups. We have the technology, we have the people, and then we have the organization. By now, because you have been studying management and business studies, you should know more about the management as well as the organizational components of the information systems. However, we wanted you to learn a little bit more about the technologies that are associated with some of these to encourage organizations to run smoothly. One area shouldn't overpower the other. They have an equal share in the function of the organization. And that's what we want you to see. In the practical projects, you have an opportunity to show us how organizations can do this. Your third practical project requires that you look for opportunities for strategic information systems based on a scenario that you were given. We're going to break up that practical project once more and speak about the aspects of it. Last week, I told you that you needed to define your MIS. You needed to mention coins. And whenever we speak about adding value, we are referring to points. You had to classify the type of information system. And again, the breakdown of all the things required are right here. We want to look at how these affect the information systems, how to implement an information system. We're looking at business processes, as well as the characteristics of an organization. You have completed forum number 3. You still have to do test 1, and you still have to complete practical project number 3, which is due on Sunday at midnight. On Sunday at midnight, what is actually due is your PowerPoint presentation. That's just the slides. You will be doing this first. This is the only presentation that you'll be doing in class so far. So practical project 3, what's different is that you're not recording this like you've done practical project 1 and 2. Instead, in our Monday and Wednesday class, you will be presenting to us live in class. So each group will be here. You will be ready to present before your class meets. And we will be able to see what work you have done based on the project you have been given. All right.
Miss, that's Monday the 10th and Wednesday the 12th.
That's correct.
Miss,
Sorry.
Monday is Monday a holiday.
Yes, that's a mistake. It should be only Wednesday. I forgot you guys have that holiday. That's why I gave you the test on to complete by Monday. So your presentation.
Miss, you sure Monday not a holiday, Miss? I think Monday not a holiday.
Yes, that was holiday.
It's indigenous people.
Yes, no holiday.
Yes, and
It
resistant.
is a holiday?
Yes.
No, man.
Someone really wants to take us take away our holiday.
No.
No, darling. No.
Next week, Monday the 10th. Okay. So mark your calendars. I know you really want to make sure you have your dates written down. So I made a mistake there. Your presentations will only be on the Wednesday. I forgot that I have your deadline for the test on Monday. So it will only be on Wednesday. Thank you for that clarification and that reminder. All right, but your presentations will be live in class. So you'll be sharing what you have done for your project. And of course, whenever you share, you want to give us the best explanation possible. Show us diagrams, show us pictures where you have, and break down how you were able to come up with your solutions for each of the questions given, right? So that's what we'll be expecting from you guys on Wednesday. All right, let me just fix that quickly so that for those who will be watching the recording, they don't have that mistake. All right. Okay. I think I have it further down. All right, so another thing I wanted to do with us tonight is to review just briefly for your assessment. And so tonight we'll be doing an activity that requires you to be able to view the questions that I'm going to present on the screen. And then you will be able to select the answer based on an image that it corresponds to. So I'd like you to visit the website www.kahoot.it, and there it's going to ask you to enter a game pin, which is seen on the screen. And also you're going to be asked to enter your name. Now, this is just for practice. You're not being assessed on this, but I'd like to see okay, so this version gives me a clear limit. So those of you who didn't get to join, if you are in the chat, you could probably suggest answers to those who are here. So let's begin. You'll read the question that is on the screen, and then you will select the shape that best corresponds to the answer.
Mr. Sipan is a phone. 19. But I know the city quiz here.
You're not seeing the question?
Yes, Miss, I see the question upon my phone, but not on the laptop.
Oh. Congratulations to our winners. And those who, I know you weren't able to participate, but you were able to look at the questions and see some areas that we need to go back and review. That's the purpose of this activity, just to show us what do we know, what do we still need to brush up on. And I'm hoping that it's a good activity for you to be able to review. One of the areas I noticed some persons struggling in was the content for chapter 2 on the collaboration matrix. So the document is here on Moodle, and we can just look at it quickly. But a lot of the questions that I noticed we were struggling with came from chapter 2. All right, so let me go back up to chapter 2. This is research, so it would have been practical and theory. All right, here we have the lecture notes right under the interactive slides. And the collaboration matrix was also recorded here by Dr. Ryan, and he also puts questions in his interactive slides for you to actively ingest the content that he's sharing. And all it's looking at is how do we determine what types of tools we use for collaboration based on certain criteria. So the criteria they give us here has to do with our location. It looks at the time and place, right? So location and our time. So if we are in the same place and we're looking at the same time, this is synchronous and collocated. If it's different place, we refer to it as remote. If it's different time, we refer to it as asynchronous. So this is the matrix. If you're in the same place and you are scheduling a meeting at the same time, you can have face-to-face interactions. And these are some options or examples of things that you can use for those face-to-face interactions. If you are having a different time zone, for instance, and you are in the same place, you might use continuous tasks. So for this, you would use team rooms, large public displays. You might use shift, groupware, project management tools, etc. So these are some collaboration tools that you might decide to use if you are working in the same place. However, you're working at different times. And of course, the list is not limited to these. You're working in different places at the same time. You might use remote interaction tools like video conferencing. That's what we're doing right now. You might use instant messaging, which we often use, virtual words, share screens, multi-users, editors. And the last one, if you're working in different places at different times, you might use communication and coordination. So for these are some of the tools that you would rely on: email, bulletin boards, blogs, asynchronous conferencing groups. You have calendars, workflows, version control, wikis. One of the things we do when we're working on a document, for instance, we create the original version, and then at the end of the name, you might put V1 to represent version 1. Then you might have somebody like Kyra editing the document. So Kyra says, okay, this is version 2. And every time an update is made, you will see the change and the update at the bottom of the document. So those are some things that you want to come back to and read. This is on page 13 of that chapter 2 lesson notes document. And of course, there's the interactive slides that you can also go back to. All right, another area that is important is looking at the roles of information systems function in businesses. We need to know what are the different workers in the IT unit, what's their responsibility, and why are they even important in an organization. So each of these has a different role. For example, the chief knowledge officer has a responsibility different from the chief privacy officer, different from the chief security officer, different from the end user. The end user would be you and I. we are using the application and the services, and we are the ones benefiting from it or the ones being affected by it. All right, so again, just a reminder, this is here for you to come back to just for your reference. So chapter 2 was all about collaboration. Now there's another tool that I'd like to introduce you to, and this is for those who don't like to read the documents yourself. Maybe you have a few minutes in the day and you can listen to something, but you don't have the time to sit and read the document yourself. You might be working on a task that is one of those routine tasks, so you don't really have to focus on it the way you would have to do something more complex. So you can actually use resources from the Chrome store. I used README and this one right here, Pericles. So to do that, you would simply go to the Chrome store, Chrome Web Store, or you could just type in extensions for if you're on Google Chrome. And then you can type in something like text to speech. If you are on a Mac, your computer already has this service, so you would just simply need to select the area that you'd like read, and your computer is going to read it based on the settings you have. Now, this is the one that I selected, but of course you can use another. Because I've already added it, you'll notice that it doesn't have the add button, it has a remove from Chrome. But when I click on the button to add it, it's going to add it to my list of applications. And when I'm ready to find it, it's right there for me to use. But how does it work? Whenever you have a document that you need to read, you simply select the text, you right click, and it's going to be able to read that PDF document for you or the other types of documents you have. All right, so the last tip that I'd like to share with you before we go into our groups to discuss Practical Project 2 is the theories and research. I noticed that a few students were getting a little confused with the research paper. And what is really required of you for this is to understand what a model is. I'm going to try to share this little video clip for you. It was giving me a little trouble earlier.
Theoretical framework. So let's go through. The La-Dene and McLean Information System success model was developed by La-Dene and McLean in 1992, and this is their model. What they are saying is that information quality, the system quality, and the service quality informs someone's intention to use a system and using it, and the person's satisfaction. So if you are integrating, or if you have integrated any technology and want to know the people's satisfaction, you can use this model. And the satisfaction leads to the net benefit. And the net benefit also leads back to the satisfaction and the person's intention to use. So if the thing is beneficial, the person will use it. And if the person uses it, it becomes beneficial. If the person is using it, it informs the person's satisfaction. Okay. So these are, so it is, the model is saying that when you are looking at information quality, then you must check the reliability of the system's information, timeliness. If you need it, does it come? Completeness of the information and how it is presented. So all these things affect the usability or the satisfaction of a system. And the system quality, the response time, if you click on it, does it come quickly? So when you have integrated any technology. You can use this to check the user's satisfaction or their intention to use or their using it. Okay, so functionality, how flexible it is, and then the reliability. The service quality, we'll be looking at the response. Is it responsive? What is the attitude? What is the competence, accuracy, the reliability? So all these ones are also under the service quality that affects information success. Okay, so you can use this to assess somebody's user satisfaction or their intention to use it and the benefit that will come out of it. Okay. So the success model identifies, describes, explains the relationship among the 6 of the most critical dimensions of success, along with information systems which are commonly evaluated.
Okay, so why did I share this short clip? While you were reading up articles for your literature review, one of the tasks was to find a model that you can use to assess some organization's information system. Now, I encourage you to look up as many models as you can find, but the La-Dene and McLean is one model that we expect to see in your paper. And what it does, it establishes a foundation for your research. So La-Dene and McLean are these researchers who were able to use criteria to be able to determine how useful a system was and how much, how successful it was based on users' feedback. So the benefits it provides for the users. And the system that we're looking at is broken down into 3 main areas. And from those 3 main areas, we can determine how successful the information system is or how unsuccessful that system is. So the reason why you need a model in your paper is because you're not creating anything from scratch. You're using information that has already been established, proven, and tested by researchers to evaluate a system that is already in existence. One of those examination tools that you can use is the La-Dene and McLean model, or the La-Dene and McLean framework, or the La-Dene and McLean theoretical framework. There are so many ways that we refer to this, but it establishes a foundation that we can stand on because it has been tested and proven. It's not something that we are proposing, it's something that has already been established. Now, these authors have published their work so that we can use this. And this, the La-Dene and McLean model, is specifically used when we are testing how successful a system is, which is what we're trying to do in this course. So each of you selected an organization that you would like to do your research on. And right now you're trying to learn as much as you can about their information system and compare it to existing information systems. But you also need to find out a tool that you will later on use to evaluate them. This is just one, and you can look for others as well to compare. All right, so the reason I'm going through this is because every week, whenever we find an area that is students are struggling with, we try to address it so that you can move on. So for that research paper, that's one of the things that you would be expected to really be able to do and explain. Why do you need to know what the models are? Because you need to be able to justify why you selected the specific model for your paper. You need to also be able to tell us what the researchers did and how are you using what they've done for your benefit, or to prove or disprove that that system is as effective as you say it is. You know, and so this is why we have to look at the models, the theories that already exist. For your benefit, we will be sharing some examples. Let me just, as we go through the course. But it's important that as you read and you identify articles, you look for articles that are similar to the system that that are similar or use a similar system to the one you're using. For example, if you're using Moodle's LMS, the Learning Management System Moodle, you might want to find other universities that are using Moodle, whether right here in Belize, if you have found published papers, or you can search online at Google Scholar and find other papers for persons using Moodle LMS within the region or in the wider society. And you will find universities using Moodle as a learning management system because of a certain criteria. You need to identify what those criteria are. What makes Moodle such an effective tool and why is it selected? What are some of the things that these authors have used to test whether or not Moodle is a successful implementation of an information system? And how can you benefit from that? So those are just a few examples. Now, the last thing we want to address is the practical project. And on Moodle, you will be able to find some examples. So let me scroll down to unit 3 rather. For your practical project, like I said, you will be working on your slides and the slides are due on Sunday. However, you'll be presenting in class. For this practical project, you will be able to prepare a presentation, and these benchmarks are only as a guide. You don't need to model them just the way they are, but they serve as a guide if you're trying to figure out what's a point of reference, what should I include. Here's a good example. So this one looks at UB's website. They give a brief overview. Then they go on to speak about its structure. They identify the business processes. And then they speak about these important aspects to the relationship, which includes politics at UB. And then, of course, we have culture. That's another aspect that needs to be addressed. The environment, management decisions. And they've put all of this in a table where they analyze these different criteria. And this is how they were able to come up with their final response. So based on the criteria and their evaluation, they were able to state the following. So this is what they were able to say about Moodle. Then they were able to speak about Zenegrade, as well as Google Suite. Of course, they were able to further categorize these systems and say whether they were assets or liabilities. All right, so that's just one example of a presentation. Let's look at the other. Another group of students, again, they're assessing the University of Belize. And here, just a brief overview. They identify the opportunities for the strategic information system, and they break it down. First, of course, they look at the website, they continue to decompose this, and they speak about all the aspects. What are some of the things they noticed? It encouraged individuals to attend UB. It fostered communication with staff and faculty. It allowed access to the online campus and the portal, and it kept students informed. So those were some benefits they saw. They went on to speak about the portal for UB students and some of the other things that were on the home page. They used a lot of pictures in this example. Notice in the previous set of slides, those presenters explained more, they use words to explain a lot of their slides. However, in this presentation, the students used pictures and they spoke a lot more in the presentation. So again, the way you develop your slides, it's up to you. However, we must be able to get an understanding of where you're coming from. So if you must use pictures, go ahead and show us reference of what you're referring to so that we have an idea. And then, of course, they continue to elaborate on each of those aspects that they speak of. They tell us about Zenegrade. They talk about the structure, and in looking at the structure, they spoke about the organogram, looking at who governs who, where, what level of management different persons fall under. They looked at the business strategy and all the different aspects, right? So it's up to you how you're going to design your PowerPoint, how you're going to present it, who is going to speak at what point, but you will be presenting live in class, and we'd like you to just share with us how you would defend your practical project number 3. So for those who were not clear on what practical project 3 entailed, let's just look at the assignment instructions once again. And so there you are just discussing with your group members the different observations that you can make from visiting UB's website. You want to find information about the university and see how well UB is using the web, or how are they using the web, period. Now, from this, you want to analyze UB. In bold, we have include a description of the organization's features. Both presentations had this. In different ways they were represented, but they both had it. You must speak about the structure, the business processes, politics, culture, environment, management decisions, and how these impact the successful implementation and utilization of the information systems. Now, yes, we have these presentations here and you're saying, okay, I could just go and copy and paste, but that's not what we expect you to do. Because these are here, we expect that you will have different information. If we see the same thing there, then we know it's a copy, and you can go ahead and read UB's policy on plagiarism. Describe the online information system, which can be accessed through UB's website. And then the website has other services it uses. There's Moodle, there's Zenegrade, which we use for attendance. There's the Google Suite apps, which we use for several things. We use them for presentations. We can make Excel spreadsheets with them. I keep saying Excel documents, spreadsheets. We can make Word documents. We can do word processing. There's file management. So many things we can do with Google Suite. So look at those different tools that UB is using and rate how successful you believe their systems are. One group use a table to rate, others use the pictures of the systems, and then they evaluated based on the pictures that were presented. You can explain how UB's organizational features, which are the business processes, the culture, structure, environment, and strategy, contribute to the success of these systems. You're only presenting for 10 minutes. So as you decide how you're going to work on this project, these are some of the things you must keep in mind. What's the structure? What are the business processes? Tell me about politics. Tell me about the environment. Tell me about the management decisions. All right. Are there any questions about this assignment? Okay, I guess not. So those are the main things. Just a reminder, in our second session next week, that will be next week, Wednesday, you'll be doing the presentation in class, and that assignment becomes due on Sunday. All right. So tonight we are supposed to have one presenter, and that should be Tariq McDonald. Now, I haven't seen his presentation in my inbox, so I don't know if he's prepared for class or not. Tariq, are you here? Okay, I'm not hearing him. All right, so with the remaining time, I'm going to ask the groups to meet independently. I know you guys have mentioned that you prefer to meet independently when you have your group assessment, group time. So I'm going to dismiss our session now so that groups can meet to discuss their group assignment, their third group assignment. And when we meet on Wednesday, we'll be going over any questions you might have had, as well as the discussion questions for the chapter. All right.
Miss, for the actual presentation in class, is it the entire group, or if we choose one person to present, is that okay?
You can select one person to present. Please ensure that that person is not the same one that you used to do any of the previous presentations though. Everybody needs to get a chance to present.
Okay, thanks, Miss.
Alrighty. All right. So I will see you guys on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, miss. Good night.
Good night.